Madam President, I rise today to speak about the critical role that U.S. attorneys play in keeping America safe from the scourge of drugs like opioids, fentanyl, gun violence, and violent crime. Why are we on the floor? We're on the floor because one senator has decided to stop the appointment of United States attorneys for the Department of Justice across the United States. He's picked 4 states. One's a pretty red state, Mississippi, California, Ohio, his own home state, and my state of Illinois, to stop the U.S. attorneys from being approved by the United States Senate. This is a pattern. The senator from Alabama, Senator Tuberville, has stopped 300 military officers, career officers, from getting a promotion for more than 6 months. Many of these career officers, women and men, have fought in combat and risked their lives for America. We salute them every Memorial Day. We say that we love our veterans, and I certainly do. I'm sure the senator from Ohio does too. And yet they're being treated so shabbily here in the United States Senate that the leading veterans organization in the United States of America has protested what this Alabama Republican senator is doing. He is stopping 300 of the best, highest-ranked individuals who will lead our military in the world from being approved in the United States Senate for 6 months, more than 6 months. Does he have a specific complaint about any one of them? No. Just categorically, this is his political approach. Let's stop all the military from a promotion. Is that fair to them and their families? I don't think so. Now let's take a look at this situation. The senator from Ohio has decided he's upset with the Department of Justice. How upset is he? Here's what he said. I will hold all Department of Justice nominations. Listen to this. We will grind the Justice Department to a halt. Grind the Justice Department to a halt, he says. Well, let's see. Did the people at the Department of Justice and U.S. attorneys, did they do anything important? Do we really need them? Well, how about starting with the issue of narcotics? 180,000 Americans died from narcotics last year. 180,000. You might know some from your community, your church, your business. 70,000 from fentanyl. Well, let's talk about fentanyl for a minute. What is this narcotic? Well, it's the new and deadliest narcotic on the streets. Let me tell you a story that breaks my heart because I know this couple. They had a daughter who graduated from college. She went to a party in Chicago. Marijuana is legal in Illinois. She decides to smoke a joint at the party. It's been laced with fentanyl and she drops dead on the spot. 22 years of age. Fentanyl is a deadly narcotic. Where does it come from? It comes from Mexico, mainly from Mexico. 2 drug cartels that are sweeping the United States and into Europe with the sale of fentanyl that is killing people right and left. Last year, 70,000 Americans. Who is trying to fight the scourge of fentanyl? The Department of Justice, the same agency that this senator wants to grind to a halt. Are we going to declare a timeout? We're going to call the Mexican cartels and say, don't be selling your fentanyl for a while because we're going to make sure that you don't have leadership that you need in your department. How could we do something that irresponsible? Don't stand up and say you're for law and order, you're for law enforcement, and then turn around and stop the appointment of U.S. attorneys who prosecute the criminals who are responsible for the narcotic sales. I came to the floor last week and asked unanimous consent for the Senate to take up and confirm these nominations. Their nominations are Todd G., U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Mississippi. If you think this is partisan, let me tell you the whole story. Todd G. is from Mississippi with 2 Republican senators. Both Republican senators approved his appointment as U.S. Attorney. Is this political? Both Republican senators are supporting the nominee that's being held by another Republican senator. It doesn't make sense. Tara McGrath. The request was made by the senator from California just a few moments ago. She wants to be the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of California, eminently qualified, no controversy with her nomination. Rebecca Lutzko. Now this is interesting. U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Ohio, the same state as the senator who's now objecting to her. He approved her. She went through the committee. She came out and was reported to the floor, and now she's being held up. Well, let's take a look here. Does Ohio have a narcotics problem? I'm going to make sure I get this right. Oh my. In the last year, Ohio had 5,155 drug overdose deaths, the fourth highest overdose deaths in America. And the U.S. attorney who would be fighting these narcotics with appropriate task force of law enforcement is being held up by which senator? The same state. The senator from Ohio is holding up his own U.S. attorney to prosecute narcotics criminals. And it's not just drugs. In Cleveland, the largest city in the Northern District of Ohio, the number of homicides is up 30% compared to last year. Nearly 90% of all overall homicides in Cleveland this year have involved a firearm. The city has seen a 99% increase in vehicle grand theft, a federal crime, so far in 2023. So to deal with the crime in the streets, to deal with the homicides, the firearm violations, and the increase in vehicle grand theft, you count on one major prosecutor. Who is it? The U.S. attorney. So you have a vacancy in the U.S. attorney's office. The senator from Ohio approves the person to fill the vacancy and then stops her nomination on the floor of the United States Senate. I can't follow his logic unless you're determined to grind the Department of Justice to a halt, even at the expense of the people you represent, the people you were sent here to protect. Don't tell me you're for law and order in your own neighborhood when you stop the nomination of a U.S. attorney with no controversy. It makes no sense. U.S. attorneys are an integral part of our justice system in overseeing important operations that help protect our communities. They're empowered to prosecute all federal criminal offenses. They play a critical role in enforcing the law. In the Northern District of Ohio, for example, the U.S. Attorney's Office led the response to a surge in fatal doses from fentanyl. It brought together doctors, state and local law enforcement, addiction specialists, and other stakeholders, and created the U.S. Attorney's Heroin and Opioid Task Force. This is in the Northern District of Ohio. This U.S. attorney is to fill the spot to lead that. But she's being held up on the calendar by whom? The senator from Ohio. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Illinois also recently secured the conviction of a drug trafficker who attempted to traffic 1 kilogram of fentanyl pills made to look like oxycodone into the state. In addition, the office coordinated with ATF on a 3-month violent crime reduction initiative in Cleveland that resulted in the arrest of 59 individuals charged with firearms trafficking, narcotics, conspiracy, and other firearms offenses. Are these important? They would be important in Chicago. They would be important in Los Angeles. They're important, I'm sure, in Cleveland and other cities as well. These convictions are trying to keep people safe in their homes and communities and reduce violent crime. The lead prosecutor, the lead federal prosecutor, is the U.S. attorney. It's a vacant position we're trying to fill with a person who demonstrated competence to take it over. And who is holding it up but the senator from Ohio? I don't understand it. When he ran for office, Senator Vance argued that he would, quote, fight the criminals and not the cops. Well, take a look at what's happening here. In this situation, the people that we need to fight these criminals, the prosecutors, are being held up by the senator before they can be voted on the floor. He has pledged to be, quote, tough on crime and to support our brave law enforcement officers. In fact, just this May, he introduced a resolution in the Senate saying, quote, he supported law enforcement officers of the United States. His resolution said the Senate highly respects and values law enforcement officers of the United States and greatly appreciates all that they do to protect and serve. The senator's resolution then calls on, quote, all levels of government to ensure that law enforcement officers receive the support and resources needed to keep our community safe. Support and resources are great, but give them the job. The job's still vacant because the senator is withholding his approval for them to move forward. I say to my colleagues, reread the resolution you introduced last May and take your own advice. Give these U.S. attorneys' offices the leadership they need to keep their community safe.